Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the Thornbird Bear Yarns podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, crocheting sometimes, and hand dyeing yarn. I dye yarn here in southwestern Indiana on the Ohio River. Literally, the Ohio River is like right back there. And today is Tuesday, May 9th, 2017. So welcome back, all of you who are existing viewers. If you are a new viewer and you like what you see, please click the subscribe button just down below. It helps to know people watch, people view, and the subscribe to me tells me that you want to come back and see it again. So if you're interested, click subscribe. I am on Instagram. You can find me there as Thornbird Bear Yarns. I'm on Ravelry as Lots of Yarn with a UV, and I'm on Facebook. There's a Facebook group and a Ravelry group for Thornbird Bear Yarns. I think that's about it. I just had something in my head. And you can find all those links down below in the doodly-doo bar. I figured out last week how to put those there. So if you're interested in following me in any of those places, did I link my Instagram? I think I did. But if you're interested in following me in any of those places, just click down below. Okay. So, it's only been a week since I last podcast, since I went 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, the last time. Not much has happened. I'm just doing my daily, trying to get through life. Actually, right now, it's super early in the morning. My boyfriend, I'm not sure I think I did mention it last episode, but he started a new job. So he has to be up, he has to be at work by 7 o'clock in the morning. And so, therefore, I decided I'm going to get up at an earlier, actually I get up before him. I get up at like 5:30. So, just because, first off, I'm a morning person, and I get a lot more done in the morning. And summer's coming up, and my job is I work on teacher hours. So in the summer, I'm off. And so I need to be able to get up earlier instead of sleeping all summer long and get stuff done before the kids get up. So today's an early day. And I'm actually really enjoying that. It's been an adjustment, but it's getting better. It's not bad. Like I said, I'm a morning person anyway, so that helps me. I did just get over, in fact, you might be able to hear it in my voice, I'm still getting over a major crud epidemic in this house. I call it the crud because I don't really know what else to call it. It's not a sinus infection or anything like that. It's just this cough. One of my kids started with it. It's like a cough with mucus, like in your chest. My chest got really tight. That's how it started. And I haven't had that in a while. It's been a couple of years since I had that sensation. But my chest was just really tight with whatever was building up. And so then I tried taking Mucinex. Didn't loosen it up at all. And so it turned into like where I had a cough like all the time. And I couldn't, it wasn't productive. It was not a productive cough. I was not coughing anything up. It was just staying there. So I tried Mucinex. Like I said, did not get anything up. Nothing was helping. And it got to the point where I was coughing so hard that I was getting sick. So I stayed home last week, several days from work. And then inevitably, if I have it and one of my children has it, it's going to pass around. So then another, well, one of my children, I don't even remember who really started it. One of them was like kind of snotty and coughy last week, but then the youngest ended up getting it full blown with me, and I slept crazy amounts of hours last week, crazy amounts, and he slept with me. We would be up at excuse me, we would be up at like, I don't know, I mean, he would come in my room and we'd be sleeping till 10 o'clock. That was after, well, we would take the kids to school, come back, and then go back to sleep. And then on Saturday we slept in till about 10 as well. And then we would take naps every day, and he's a napper. He can nap. He's never, the whole like my kid stop napping thing never happened for him. He loves to sleep, and particularly he loves me, and therefore he loves to cuddle with me, and that means he likes to nap with me because it means he can cuddle me. But he is now 5 and he still can take a good nap. So he was so into taking lots of naps, and so we did that. Even this weekend, I was off Thursday and Friday from work, and I thought surely by like Saturday I'll be better. I still was pretty sick on Saturday. Sunday I was coming around on Sunday. I was able to go to my parents' house for a cookout. They got a new basketball goal for my kids, which was really exciting, and so we all went over there, but I still was feeling rough. So went to bed early Sunday night and yesterday night, and so I'm still getting over it, but I'm definitely better. And I went back to work yesterday, which was nice. So that was my week. Let's talk about finished objects. I do not have any finished objects from last week. I'm still working on the same things. So we will go into works in progress. And it is now a new month. It's May. And so therefore I can start my May Desert Vista Dye Works 2017 socks. If you're not familiar with Desert Vista Dye Works, she does a sock club where you can purchase her yarns, knit a sock starting and ending in one, the same month. It has to be completely her yarn. You can't use contrasting heels or toes in a different yarn. And what was I saying? And so anyways, I started doing that this year. And if you get through like 3 months, you get 30% off an order. If you get through 6 months, I believe it's a free skein of yarn. 9 months, it's again another 30% off, I believe. And then 12 months, it's another skein of yarn, I think. You can check her Ravelry group for the official rules. So I've been doing that this year. And I just got in an order of yarn from her. And one of the colorways I ordered was this Trolls the Movie colorway. And, sorry, the light's kind of bright on it. But it's almost like a rainbow, but with like neons. And so I love it. I cast it on. And so normally with socks, I do 2 at a time, at least since about December, January. Excuse me. I've been knitting my socks 2 at a time. Well, it's starting to get into summer. I'm going to be at the pool all the time. Coffee. And so I love doing 2 at a time socks, but it does get kind of heavy on the needles. It sounds stupid because it's a sock. How heavy can it be? But it does get a little bit heavy on the needles, and so I decided that I'm going to see what I think about doing maybe some other kind of sock construction. This is like my 60-something pair of socks, 64th, 65th. So, I've done a lot of different constructions on socks. And Afterthought heels, I have to say, are not my favorite construction. But, I think what I'm going to try, just for sake of trying, is to knit one long tube. One long tube. So it's going to start with the ribbing, which I cast on 72 stitches for my ribbing. I'm a big girl. I cast on 72 stitches. I do, let me pull back here. I do 20 rows of ribbing, and then I decrease down to 64 stitches after the ribbing, and I knit, usually I knit 70 rounds for my leg then. So it's a total of 90 rounds, but 70 for my leg. And then I do my fish lips kiss heel, or if I was doing a singular sock, maybe a heel flap or whatever. But what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to knit 70, but then I'm just going to keep going. Well, actually what I'm going to do, okay. So I'm going to knit 70, and then I'm going to transition into knitting 75 more rounds, because 75 is the number on 75/25 yarns that I need to knit for my foot after a fish lips kiss heel. So normally if I was doing this by itself, I would knit 20 rounds, 70 rounds for the leg, do my heel, and then I knit 75 rounds for the foot and then start my toe. So my thinking is 20 rounds for the ribbing, 70 for the leg, 75 for the foot, and then I'm going to go straight into another 75 rounds for the next sock's foot. I'm not going to cast off. I'm not going to do a toe. I'm just going to start another 75 rounds. And then I'm going to do the last 70 rounds for the leg. And then the 20 rounds of ribbing. Well, after the 70 rounds for the leg, I'm going to increase back up to 72 stitches. Do my 20 rounds of ribbing and then bind off. So it'll essentially be a really long tube with ribbing at one side and the other side, right? And I say the number 70 and 75, how I'm doing that twice. But once I get through that 70 and 75 and 75 and 70, I'm going to keep knitting, I think. So these will probably be longer than a 70 rounds, which is actually 90 rounds with the ribbing. But it'll probably be longer because my thing is I just want this summer when I'm at the pool to be able to knit on a sock and not have to think and not have to count, not have to stop and do heels. And so if I can just knit, as long as it gets past that number, which I believe I totaled it up. So it's like 145 plus 145, which is like 290. And that's not counting the 20 for the ribbing. So it'd be like 290 rounds from this point. As long as I get past that number, I can go as far as I want past that. I don't have to have any kind of magic number. And then I will start the ribbing for the other end. And then I think I'm going to just keep an eye on the yarn too to see how long I want to keep knitting, because I need to have enough yarn to knit heels and toes. And I've done afterthought heels before. I have never done one where I've snipped the yarn, because these are going to be true afterthought heels. They're going to be the kind where I'm going to be cutting the yarn. But I'm not worried about it. I've done several variations of different afterthought heels. And so I'm going to do, though, my toe that I do for my socks, I decrease on 5 points. And I think I'm going to try that for these heels. And I'm saying that because I hate Kitchener-ing. I hate it. I don't do a good job at it. I have it memorized. I know how to do it. But nevertheless, it never looks good. And I've watched tutorials. I've tried a million different ways on how to make it look nice. I got a random here. But I cannot get it to look nice. So I'm going to, I think, do my toe on... Oh, we have something coming up. I think I'm going to do my toe for my heel. The 5-point decrease down to where I can bind it off. And I also think I'm going to do the toe as I would. So the first thing after I knit this long tube with ribbing on both sides is then I'm going to find the middle point, and I'm going to take 2 circular needles to 32 inches and go back a couple rows from that middle point, pick up the stitches on one circular for that, then go a few rows the other direction, pick up the stitches, an equal number on both sides, and then I'm going to cut the yarn. So then the socks will separate, and they'll be ready for toes. And so then I'll do both socks. I'll do the toes on them. And then once I get those done, then I'll go back, and each individual sock, I'll go back to where I need to put in the heel. And then I'll pick up stitches for that, cut it, and do it that way. So that's my thought. One thing I don't like about Afterthought heels is that I'm the kind of person that I like to have... Oh, I dropped stitches. Okay, I think I got it. I like to have my projects done. Like, if I did a sock... Well, I'm doing one right now. But if I do a sock where I have to do finishing work on it afterwards, that includes like heels, toes, it feels like it takes infinitely amounts... Infinitely, is that the word? Indefinite amounts of... Indefinite? I don't know. It feels like it takes a lot longer to knit a sock than if I just would stop and put in a Fish Lips Kiss heel. And I am very much an efficient knitter. I do not like my time, and an effective knitter. I do not like my time being wasted doing things that could have been done in a much quicker fashion. So that's how I am in life. It can be bad. So we'll see how this goes. This is an experiment. Maybe I'll love it. Maybe I will hate it. But one thing I am loving is this colorway. I could knit this for days. I had no Sock Mojo, like I was saying in the last podcast. I'm like, on socks right now because I've knit so many last month. But people, this is speaking to me. I cannot stop on it. I have a Progress stitch marker. I don't know the Etsy shop because I order from several Etsy shops, although this is not turning. That's annoying. I'll have to turn it. But it's a little like pastry with a little heart, and I love it. And also on my bag, I didn't show these last time, but I got little... Okay, backstory. My parents they told us a couple weeks ago that they're going to be taking my brother, his wife, their child, and me, my boyfriend, and our kids to Disney World around Thanksgiving time. So I got a little Tinkerbell, it's hard to see it, a little Tinkerbell pop keychain to put on my sock bag, just to kind of remind me of that. And then my other project, which I'll show you here in a minute, I have a little rainbow dash. I love rainbows. So that's that. So those are my socks. I'll have an update next episode on how this is all going. We'll see if I like it. I might get frustrated and feel like it takes too long. Because that's one thing I love about 2 at a time socks. It's like done. Like you just knit 2 socks and they're done. So that's one whip. My other whip is my Doodler shawl. And this is a pattern by Stephen West. It was a mystery knit along, I think, back in like 2015. And if you watched last episode, I was talking about how I'm I'm not a cardigan wearer. Excuse me. Or a shawl, or a sweater, really. Sweater wearer. But I do wear shawls. And I like to make them, shawls usually end up being my centerpiece of whatever I'm wearing. So, for next season, my throat's feeling dry. For next season, I want to have about three, my goal is 3 Stephen West shawls to add to my wardrobe. And so I'm right in the middle of a row. I'm doing a doodler, and this is all out of my yarn. The white yarn is, with the speckles, is called Dude. And it is on an 80-20 base that I don't carry in my shop. It's a sparkle base. I don't know if you can see. You can kind of see the sparkle a little bit. The yellow and purples and browns is Meadow, and that is in my shop right now. This is the 75-25 colorway. I love it. Let me see down here at the end. And then I just added in then, this weekend, don't come off my needles. I just added in the last color way, which is Sugar Coma. And it is pinks, purples, some teals, some orangey, peach, brown, and it's gorge. And I'm loving it. It's the last color here on the shawl, and I'm actually on wedge 2 right now. I'm knitting away on it, and once this is done, I think I'm gonna do 3 wedges. I don't think I'm gonna do the 4th, but we'll see. One thing that annoys me about myself is I always try to just get things done, and sometimes if I would just go a little bit farther and finish up whatever I'm knitting and do the like extra repeat or whatever, it would end up being something I loved a lot more. And if I'm always like, I'm so over the shawl. But if I just would spend another, 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, I would end up probably loving it a lot more. And so I think I'm just going to make myself do it, like do the extra wedge. That's if I have enough yarn, which I think I will. So whatever. So that is my Doodler shawl. I'm loving knitting on this. The rows are getting longer. So, but these wedges are made with short rows. So essentially one end has a lot more, this end has a lot more rows than this end. And so that ends up making it, even though the rows are really long, excuse me, even though the rows are really long, you only knit that really, really, really long row a few times. Otherwise it's a short row. So that's not bad, right? So yeah. So that's all I'm really working on this week. I have another secret project that's not knitting related, but I can't talk about it because the people I think watched, I know at least one of them watches the show. So, I know. I hate when people say that. Why did I say that? I hate when people say that and then you're like, well, what are you doing? And like, they won't tell you because they can't. So I apologize, but suffice it to say, one thing you will learn about me is I use words that sound like the correct word, but they aren't, like interchangeably all the time. So I'm saying suffice, but that might be wrong. Sometimes I catch myself in the act of doing it, and sometimes I don't. And my friends, I'm a running joke with my friends because I can't, they're like, you just said whatchamacallit, and you probably meant this, and I can't keep it straight. So, whatever. So, suffice it to say, you will, so now I'm trying to think of the right word. I think it might be suffice, I don't know. You will see it, the project this year at some point. I'll say that. But I'm really excited about it, and maybe I'll do a vlog sometime about some of the things I'm into that are not knitting. But I'm excited, and I've been planning that out. And it does involve some knitting. So, and when that time comes, I'll maybe show stuff. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I will be back in 2 weeks, which will be May 9th, 23rd, I believe. And I'm going to be going to Florida here in less than a month. So excited. And that's not the Disney World, Florida. This is just weird. We go to the same little mom and pop resort on the beach every year. And so I'm so excited. And anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about this. You guys have a wonderful week. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.